and in the 10 projects, at least 5 people have come. The idea of the 5 is show staff, because we're going to work on ourselves. So I'm going to request that we have 5 groups, and 5 groups, please don't be the same group with your colleague. Now you will help me come in front here a bit. I want us to just take a deep time to just reflect a bit. How was Genesis story? Interesting. I like that. Now, I want us to be honest. That's why I wanted us to be in different groups where you're not with the staff member in the project, so that you can share. Some of these issues around the mental health some of these issues, there are a lot of stigma, we don't share them a lot. So, if I may ask, suppose Jane is amongst us. Suppose Jane is the PD. Suppose Jane is the overseer. Suppose Jane is the CEO. Now, let's just reflect. Let's be honest. In terms of performance, how will Jane perform at the project? Extremely poor. Extremely poor. Very good. Now, is it possible for us to help such a staff like Jane to be able to perform? Yes. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. And we are going to work this out in a way that we are going to keep discussing this. And it is my prayer that even when we go back to our projects, let's have time to reflect and see how do we help our Jane, who is amongst our team. Now, question number 2. As we reflect, we are going to answer these questions why we are reflecting, but also as we are going backwards. Yes, please.
About Jane, all of us, including me, seeing the situation of Jane. But before I help Jane, I myself, is there any test of me to make sure that me who is helping Jane, I'm not also Jane?
Very good. That's why we're here. I want to make this application. I started supporting conversion projects in 2023. Just for precedent. Now, I've been supporting conversion projects in the region of West Nile where I come from.
That is good.
Now, one of the things that I got challenged with was, by that time, when I engaged with the Bwana Samson, the focus was on participants. We developed a tool to do screening. I'm sure you've done screening for children. And for...
You are the one.
Now, we've been using that tool for screening the participants. But then, one day I questioned something to my second brother. What are we thinking about the staff?
Yes.
Then I told him that in our intervention, because we run the mental health program in West Nile, and our interventions, we design programs which cuts across, because you cannot think of taking care of the mental well-being of a participant without the staff and without the CPC. In fact, I was challenging Bwana Caleb, and I was saying I wish the CPC members were here, because we realized that CPC and staff and overseers work together as a team. But somehow, we have, I love football, so I will use football.
Which team do you support?
I support Liverpool.
Ah.
Yeah, the point is here, we must win as a team. But sometimes during practice or sometimes during the game, we can injure one another. And sometimes after injuring one another, now coming back to even address some other issues may become very hard because we will still be nursing our wounds. And it affects our performance, right? So that's how we began developing ideas. How do we incorporate stuff into this? And I'm glad today this is happening because the staff play a very big role in well-being for us. So that's why, if you are to paint a picture of what you have just said, now it is clear that Jane needs help. And it's also likely that Jane is amongst us here. So now this is going to, now because of time we're yet going to discuss that issue of Jane in detail. But you realize that there are many aspects where our story is similar to that of Jane. Only that we've never gone to the witch doctors like Jane did. You never know. And maybe because we are compassionate staff, I see very many rings. So that means that there is no one who is divorced like Jane, or something like Jane. Maybe some are used, but then there is abuse that comes through. The verbal abuses are also there.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't now do things because we are committed that, what if, because we have our policies that guide our operations as compassion. So, we are going to be doing 2 and 4. But our center is going to be on Jane. Because we want to help Jane. So that once Jane is helped and equipped very well, then Jane can be able to help the participants. Jane can help the caregivers. And I can now paint a picture, even right now, as a staff of compassion and as overseers, when we see the son of Jane, we have a number of caregivers in our mind already. In the shoes of Jane, who need support. And we can't support them until we also support them. Right? So, looking at mental health awareness for staff of compassion, Bushenyi cluster. On today, we are going to have this time and we are going to be going through this. I said we serve with the Voice of Restoration. We are based in Arua, West Nile. We run those mental health services. So when I talk about Jane, I'm talking from lived experience. I have been through rejection. I know wherever you go, like sometimes even at your project, or even at your church where you're working, even at wherever you are, I've told you no. It is impossible, you can't do this, you will never do this, and the best you've received is the rejection. But still my call is to turn your greatest dreams into reality.
Hallelujah.
And then of course, hope in the age of the future, there is beyond the job title. I know you are the overseer, but beyond the title of overseer, who are you? You are the PD, without that title of PD, who are you? You are SDR. Without that title, who are you? Without that title. Without the title that I'm a teacher, I'm a lawyer, I am a doctor, I am an engineer, who are you? Because many times we've not found our true selves, and we are there. And then of course, the art of public speaking, the right to self-publish, and all of that. So, we are here. Why are we here this morning? My desire that I can be of help to the staff of compassion projects of Bushenyi cluster to provide the staff with the practical tools and techniques to manage stress, improve performance, and enhance overall well-being. Like we've all testified here, Jane cannot perform very well. And for those are my only 2 objectives. If you can achieve that by the end of the day, I will be a happy man and I will go back to Arua. Very happy. So, why are we interested in this area? Because definition is a state of mental well-being that enables me and you and all of us here to recognize and realize our abilities. To be able to cope with the normal stresses of life. To work productively and fruitfully and make a contribution to the community. That is mental health. Now, the challenge is whenever we hear the word mental health, our minds run to Putabika. our mind runs to those who are in Putabika because Batabuse. But ideally, mental health, when we're talking about mental health, we're looking at me and you, where we are able to realize and recognize who we truly are and our potential. You realize, I think that some of us here, we've never realized our true potential. But we have potential, but we are not yet been able to realize. But mental health helps us to realize this, to manage stress, to work productively and fruitfully, and to contribute to the community. That is mental health. Now, what happens? Why does it matter? Why does mental health matter? Mental health matters because, number one, when mental health suffers, everything else suffers. Our decisions will suffer, our focus will suffer, our energy will suffer, and everything around us will suffer. That's why it is important to address these issues around mental health. Number two, why is it important? In compassion, we deal with the vulnerable children and the caregivers, right? We have deadlines. We have deadlines to submit the reports.
Yes.
And we deal with the money, right? So, our clarity, our calmness, our communications are crucial. And it is only that good mental health helps us to bring our best to the table where you sit.
Yes.
You must be able to bring your very best to that table every day. If you don't bring your best, then you're going to have issues with the class. You're going to have issues taking care of these children. You're going to see them as a burden. You might be tempted to ask the question Moses asked. Am I the one who gave birth to all these people? Yeah? And that's also why it doesn't matter. If we don't talk about it, stress will pile up. And when stress piles up, everything falls. When we talk about it, we unlock solutions. That's why it matters. Colleagues, let me announce this. Stress is number one contributor to both your physical. I want to start again. If we do not manage stress very well, stress is number one contributor for your physical health problems as well as your mental health problems. Why? If you know anybody who has hypertension, it is because it is triggered by stress. Anybody who has diabetes, it is triggered by stress. Anybody who has cardiovascular problems with the heart condition and all that, it is triggered by stress. Anybody who has a stroke is also triggered from stress. Alcoholics, drug abusers are triggered by stress. And if you are here like just said it in the Bible, I will put it in this perspective of mental health. If the spirit is willing and the body is weak, we took it by stress. I think men can understand. The spirit is willing but the body is weak. And there are people who are married and they believe in God for children. They don't have any other problems, but children are not coming through. Why? Stress. Now, let's bring it to now mental health. If you are sad, it is because there is stress, there is anxiety, there is depression. We shall get there. So that's why this issue matters. Now, looking at it in terms of workplace, because our workplace plays a very big role. That's why we're looking at workplace mental health. Now, I want to announce to you that well-being, it affects everybody else. So taking a sense of responsibility and pressure is always our pressure. Because we must address these issues. That one. Yeah, so heavy workload. Our workload. And unfortunately, our vote for human resource is a bit miserable. And because of that, we cannot employ so many staff. So no matter how few staff recruited, but handling the load. But the good news is just let only cast your burdens, because when you carry your load, it is there but a bit lighter. But the workload is there each time. So that's why these heavy loads put a lot of focus on us. Then number 3, so number 4, limited resources. You know your budget report, so you know your budget, you know how your figures are. That's why sometimes some things can be very good, but the reality is, many times if you don't sacrifice for this work, you can't work.
You can't.
Do we get transfers here, so? People in the office to another village, it takes sacrifice to go there. Yes. True. It takes sacrifice to work where you're working. Of course, the workplace expectations. High expectations of empathy, patience, and professionalism. One day I was doing this very stuff, this Genesis story for group discussion. Then I asked if a staff is like this. They said, if this is in compassion, we will not even be employed. Or if he's already there, we will be fired because of her marital conditions. And is it possible that some of us, our marriages are getting so tough, but because of the job, we try to put a mask? Is it possible? Is it possible? Yes. Because, let's be honest, this is where we want to address these issues. We want to discuss these issues with ourselves. You read from me this statement here, from my book. Yeah, you can read.
Many relationships and marriage are in the intense care unit.
Is it true? Many marriages and relationships are in the intensive care unit.
I see.
Many marriages and relationships are in the intensive care unit. They are on the oxygen. So for purpose of our job, let me not declare that I'm leaving. But actually you left long ago. But you are there. Mentally you left long ago. Emotionally you left long ago. Even financially you left long ago. You're only there physically. And now some of us are there because of the job and because of the time. The impact is increased anxiety and the stress and the disorders. We see the physical violence and the emotional violence. But I can tell you, GTV is more than that. Sometimes you come to office, what breaks you down is not the physical beating, it's not the physical abuse. It is the emotional wounding, the verbal threats and abuse. What people say about you, or what your spouse said about you, or what your family members said about you, it breaks you down. We have financial violence. Financial violence is where, now like for you who is the breadwinner, for example, you control all the money. You don't give your spouse any.
Accountability.
Don't even give accountability, you make sure
You bring that to
you try to use your financial muscle to, because you're the one with the money, or you're the one with the biggest money, so you take that to manipulate. Yeah. You don't give money. You don't buy what they need. If you are to give them the money, you first abuse and talk and quarrel. And then sometimes you use that as a condition. You either do this or else.
no money.
Now, this becomes manipulative, and these are all forms of violence. We have sexual violence. And I can imagine that even some of us here, in our houses, there is always a referendum. Referendum. Koji kwata. Koji kwata. Now, what Koji kwata you know this is violence. There's sexual violence. That's why you can be sure some female staff here. Every night they make sure they put on leggings, they put on the bike up, they put on the short, they put on the trousers, leggings, before going to bed. Don't you what I got? Promoting sexual violence. And using it as a tool to manipulate. And all these things are here. It is not the impact. Look at the impact of our one other side. Okay?
Yes.
Of course, they want us to seek for help. Due to fear of appearing weak. To come out to seek for help. Because of what society will say. For example, if the Reverend Carlos said, the last 1 year we've been having referendum in the house. Toji kwata ko. And it's affecting my wife. People say, even you? How come? No way. People can begin to become judgmental instead. And because of that, people now fear. Now, what are some of the common challenges that we can then get as a staff of compassion? It can then become a challenge for us. And when chronic stress sets in, I can tell you everything will fall apart. That's why, if we have time today, I want to be able to also handle stress management because it is a huge issue. Like I said, stress, burnout. Number 3, anxiety. Answers for anything.
Yes.
But I can tell you, anxiety is real. All of us, even here, some of us are here, but we are worried how we are going to pay this month's dues.
Yes.
The month is ending. We are worried. We're worried about our health, we're worried about our family members, we're worried about our work, we're worried about our project, we're worried about something somewhere, and we are always worried. And this worry takes root deep inside us. And before you know it, everything begins to fall apart. That's why sometimes your heartbeat is not normal. Your heartbeat rate is not normal. It is so fast. Sometimes, even when you've not eaten some good food, so the bad food I mean, before when you've not eaten the serious food, you can have running stomach. Because of anxiety. Because of anxiety, even sometimes when you're walking, you walk. Too much gas, every single time. Every single time. Gas in the stomach because of anxiety. Anxiety is real. Of course, depression comes in where you feel so hopeless. You lose interest in everything you used to love doing. You can be depressed. Colleagues, I said this with a heavy heart. The only mental disorder which has claimed the lives of brilliant young people and elderly people is depression. Because of depression, many people have committed suicide. Because of depression. It is the only disorder. You've seen people who walk naked. When they say car, what do they do? They run away from a car. They don't want to die. But because of depression, somebody is walking. How do I die quickly? Because I'm tired. Even in the Bible, men of God, they don't, because they know they cannot commit suicide and it will be good for them. They will say, God, take me. Moses said it. Jeremiah said it. Elijah said it. Take me. I'm not better than my father. Let me die. Because of depression. Because everything else begins to fall apart, we become so sad, and this affects everything around us. We become so hopeless. Sleep disorders, insomnia, like I said it here, sleep has bothered many of us. And sometimes when we want to sleep, as we are the PD, at night, I'm sure many of you have ever woken up in the middle of the night to check your emails. And then after that, you do your reports.
on the screen at night. When others are asleep, you are still on the screen. Maybe finishing one of the classes on your phone. And then we have irregular sleep patterns. Aware, colleagues, trauma is real. And I'm aware many of us have been traumatized while growing up. Childhood traumas can even manifest now. Like the way we started growing up, whenever we remember those painful memories, things fall apart. I'm even convinced, even us here, many of us will say, I don't want to talk about this particular thing because it reminds me of the past. It makes me emotional. It reminds me. So I don't want to talk about it. And the way you don't want to talk about it, it still continues to continue. And whenever you try to talk about it, you break down and you cry. Why? It is still fresh. You know wounds. Some wounds don't heal easily. Some wounds heal, but they leave a big scar. And every time we see the scar, still we have memories. Anybody has ever been heartbroken like me before? They got married?
Yes.
Sometimes you might be tempted to call the name of your previous ex. Because they had you so badly and they left a long ago. But now you're with a new person, but this person is also beginning to act like another person. You may be tempted to call this person with the name of the other. That's why we still continue to have the flashbacks. I know many of us could have been through accidents. Some of us here could have expressed rape. Some of we've lost dear ones unexpectedly. And all this traumatizes all of us. Compassion fatigue. There comes a time when you are taking care of somebody who is really struggling, these participants and the caregivers who are in a crisis and in a distress. And you have nowhere to offload this, remember? And you have all of these over 250 children who are all needy with different varied experiences and backgrounds and stories. And sometimes we absorb all of this, but we don't have a way to dump it. And then we absorb all of this. And then we get tired. Compassion fatigue is real. Substance misuse. Use of alcohol and drugs and substances. Bipolar. I know you could be knowing stuff who every time, before you know it, they are sad. All of a sudden, they are happy. All of a sudden, they are sad. And it's hard to understand them somehow. Now, with the bipolar, what happens is somebody has the extreme happiness, which is a mania. Psychosis is where we live in imagination, we live in a real world. We live in imaginations, we just have some feeling that normally come. For example, you can be here in Bushenyi right now, but you feel you're in America. You can be here and you feel you're the president. Do you know, the other day I sat down and I'm like, psychosis is real. When I see over 150 people go to pick nominations that they want to be president, honestly I look and I'm like, there's no way to do but they feel. They just have this feeling because of distorted thinking and perceptions and emotions. That's what we're doing. How do you know that the staff is in the church? Why are we doing this? We want to do this because we want to address this question here and raise. You see, you cannot help somebody until you are really healthy yourself. And when it comes to the issue of mental health issues,
Yes.
it is your colleagues who actually notice some of these things. That's why we want to give you some of these basics, so that you can be able to know. I was doing this, unfortunately, some of these we invite on ourselves. We shall go to sales management and see how we invite this on ourselves. Even I'm sure 31st of last year, 31st December last year, many of us who are here had a long list
of New Year.
Yeah, of course.
And we claim 25 is my year.
Yes.
I must marry or get married this year. Now today is the 21st of August. And nobody has said hello. Nobody has said anything. Nobody. And the few calls we receive is not for some coffee out. The few calls we receive, how far with the report? How far with the report? Nothing like, can I see you? Nothing. Nothing. That's why it's time to do. I'm sure the clergy can testify. When people say, Reverend, now I am for Christ, I want to serve God.
Yes.
Whatever. Their marriage, I'm out of it. I now want to serve God because the hope of the progress. And it is even worse. Wherever you go home and let people ask you, how far? That's the question. Of course, we did all from team interactions. Colleagues, if you go for meetings, they don't appear. And it's becoming so frequent. There's a problem with such stuff. Why are they isolating themselves? Why do they want to stay alone? Why do they want to come to people? There's a problem. Increase in anxiety or worry. There's always a problem there. We normally submit our reports. No, but that many of us, we don't even submit our reports on time. Every time we are late. There's always a problem. Frequently late or absent without clear reasons. What time do we come to office? At 8. But I'm sure some of your colleagues have been arriving at 9, 10 without even any communication. I know many of us here, somebody calls you, you see the phone, but you just feel, I don't want to talk to this person. You drop the phone. When your staff members don't pick calls like that, something is really bothering them. Difficulty making decisions or concentrating, there's always a problem there. And then, of course, physical. Physically, what do you see? You can see the fatigue or low energy during the day. Out there in some of the lessons, there is a word they use, which we don't, I think we don't use it in compassion language. We don't use it in compassion. Have you heard about the word vine? At what? Now, there are people, the vibe is not there. Now that we use the word, let's use it here now. The vibe is not there. They appear, they drag themselves to work, they drag themselves back home. It is clear they're dragging themselves. And then, of course, visible signs of poor sleep. You see that sleep is on their face. And in the morning, then you know there's a problem here. Of course, changes in appearance or hygiene. Someone who is very smart appears without bathing. They just appear. The clothes are not organized. Clothes are not clean. Okay, not combed. Shoes not polished. And sometimes they even come in sandals. One sandal is red, one is blue.
No, we haven't reached there.
I'm just talking the reality of life. Somebody comes with torn clothes to office. Somebody comes when they are really very shabby. Then you know there's a problem. Of course, the frequent hangovers or smelling alcohol. If a staff comes to office and is smelling alcohol, then you know there's a problem. Wanji. Not because we are believers. Many of us will not take these other alcoholic drinks that we know. Because of people say, hey, we saw so in the back. No. So what do we go? We go local. It's good. Do we take our Bushera? Yeah. Akashera?
Yes.
Then we make sure we have the the cock one. We ask for the cock one. That can be knock us down. Then inconsistent attendance is inconsistent. He relies on substance to get through the day. People who rely on substance to get through the day. That's why many types. Many stuff get there, they can't leave. Some stuff use this one. Some stuff use this one. Some stuff use that one. They inject themselves to get drugs, be it cocaine, be it pedicine, be it tramadol, be it whatever drug they inject themselves so that they can get along the day. And Madam, from there he wants to give you a kiss. Now, even when we are struggling, what are some of the common barriers? We are one, it is a stigma. The fear of judgment. We are worried that if I open up, people will laugh at me. Yeah. We are worried that when we speak up about these issues, somebody will say something. We are concerned that we will be told that we are weak. Or we will be told that we are unstable. We will be told all kinds of names. We will be backbite. There will be backbiting that will happen. But also, there's something that I've said here. That even now, you realize that some of our men and women, the staff of compassion are struggling with the mental health issues, and these issues are even triggering more other issues. I'm sure you know some staff right now who could be of compassion, and that becomes so problematic in that their song they are singing is Gazie Salo Zange, Ayukama, Gazie Salo Zange, Verebo Mukisa, Eno Wange, Neno Wange, Neno Wange, Noli Wange, Bona Wange. I know we have been hearing some of these rumors that some men or some staff or some women have become serial humanizers. Because no one they go there. No one Bona one. But the problem is because of mental health problems. Even the drug abuse, it is because of mental health problems. But then my cry has been, where shall one go if their request for help turns out to be a gospel news? Where should one go? That's why we are saying, let's break the stigma. Let me tell you something here, all of us can go through pain. All of us. I have good news and bad news. Let me begin here are mentally sick. That's the bad news. All of us. Let me go systematic. Let me just throw some of these highlights and see if you relate. How do you know somebody is struggling with mental health problems? Number one, appetite problems. If right now you are lost appetite all of a sudden, or you have gained so much appetite, is a problem. All of a sudden. Number two, if all of a sudden you have lost weight, or all of a sudden you have gained weight, all of a sudden there is a problem. Yes. Because when you're overwhelmed with issues, you lose appetite. Many of us, we've gone days without eating food and we don't get hungry. And it's not normal. And for some of us here, we even order 2 kilos of some animal here in Bushenyi. One man, moreover, one man. Oh, one woman. 2 kilos. And you're one person. And you make sure there is a problem. Number 2 is the sleep. Sleep changes. If you are here, you are struggling to sleep, even when you watch sleep and sleep has abandoned you, you wake up in the night and stay awake, or you oversleep, there is a problem. Number 3, anger. Anger. Are you aware that Moses never went to the promised land because of anger? Anger is a manifestation of mental health problem. Real. Fatigue and loss of energy, hopelessness, the word I've just said here, loss of interest in the daily activities. If you are here and you have lost interest, even I'm sure some stuff of compassion right now, they're buying our feelings. They no longer have feelings. They no longer have a sense of pleasure. There's a problem. And this particular one is because of depression. Withdrawal and isolation. You want to stay alone, you want to stay alone, not with people. Even I'm sure you know people, even at your projects, time of lunch comes, they serve their food and they go and eat alone somewhere. They don't want to eat with their colleagues, they don't want to stay with their colleagues. There's a problem. The next is behavior, lack of basic personal hygiene. Remember about this already? Having your own meeting with yourself regularly.
I'm the chairperson of myself.
Yes. You ask your question, you answer it, and you talk alone. You always have those frequent meetings. If you're having those frequent meetings alone like that, there's a problem. Hearing your voices, others don't hear, apart from hearing the voice of the Holy Spirit. But you hear voices that you don't see the people, but just hear voices. You see things others don't see. There is a problem. Having uncoordinated speech. You have uncoordinated speech. You talk, but nobody can connect whatever you're saying to form a logical meaning. You talk things here, you jump to another, you jump to here. You're talking things just at random. Nothing can connect it to make a logical sentence. Illogical thoughts. There's a problem. Society risks where you feel you want to just end your life. You are tired of life. You have suffered enough, you have suffered too much. When these feelings come, then you know this is a mental health crisis.
Correct.
And I can now believe that at least many of us here we have 1 or 2. But the good news is, like I said, we are all yet sick. When we are sick, it is still a mild condition. Mild. When it becomes severe, we are no longer sick, and it means we are ill. Now, when somebody is mentally ill, they can't perform any work. They can't do anything. I said there's bad news. Then the good news is we can still help. We can still address these issues. We can still prevent mental breakdowns. We can still avoid some of these things. We can still manage. We can still help ourselves. Yes,
Hallelujah.
Yes, I wanted to supplement.
yes, please.
There are some of the obsessions that we get that can also indicate that we are mentally ill.
Yes, please.
Like being obsessively clean.
Yeah.
You're too clean.
Perfectionism.
Yeah, perfectionism.
Yes.
If someone is visiting you, you're eating the rice and it drops on the floor. This person immediately comes with to clean. You know, someone who cleans the gate, cleans the saucepans, almost everything. At times it becomes an obsession.
Yeah.
And you can have the obsessive compulsive disorder.
True.
Like that.
Very true. Some of us even, like if they have put their water like this, when they find someone that put it like this, trouble. Trouble. People who are excessively clean, excessively, they're those who bathe 4 times a day. And they're those, if you have done something, please first wash your hands again. You're excessively. Yeah. So these things happen with all of us. Now, career concerns, many of us will not seek for help because of career concerns. We feel if I open up and I say that I'm struggling with this condition, maybe because it is my desire to become a PD one day. It is my desire to become a PF one day. So, in terms of my career, in compassion, let's not disclose. Because it might affect. This is the fear. Number 3, another fear, which is a barrier, lack of open dialogue. We don't openly discuss these issues. We don't discuss these issues. Then, of course, the fear of confidentiality. We doubt about whether support programs will maintain privacy. You may want to open up, but am I sure? Because our fear is, maybe if I tell the reference, who is the overseer, maybe on the Sunday, he might put me as a prayer request for the whole congregation. That becomes a fear. Or maybe if I tell this person, maybe they will take the other side and then something else will happen. It becomes gossip news. That's the fear. Another fear, lack of awareness and knowledge. People only perish because of whatever. We perish for lack of knowledge. Because the truth you know is what will set you free. Finally, financial and time constraints. By the way, managing and treating mental health issues are most expensive. If you hear somebody is taken to the rehab, the minimum they are spending in the rehab is 1.5 minimum. We are worried about the costs involved and the time. So, these are struggles that we go through. But please, colleagues, help is available. Help is available. Help is available. I want to ask, please, reach out for help. Reach out for help. Talk to your spouse. Talk to people you trust. Can be your partner, can be your friend, can be a colleague, can be a leader. Talk to somebody. You see, by God's grace, I've been doing these awareness trainings, even for clergy. And one day I was having it for the clergy of Kappa Diocese, and I was reminding them, please reach out for help too. Even just ask for help. Jesus told the 3 disciples, please pray for me. My heart is sorrowful unto death. Please pray for me. If just ask for prayer, why don't we ask for prayer as well? All of us will go through crisis. All of us. All of us. In the Bible, men of God suffered mental breakdowns. In the Bible, kings suffered. Good men who had no problem like Job suffered. Many people suffer in the Bible with mental health problems. But the good news is, all of them reached out for help. You could be going through a crisis right now. You could be going through something. Please reach out for help. Number 2, you can seek professional support from people who are trained to handle this. That's why we have the psychologists who are there. We have the counselors who are there. We have the mental health experts who are there. A problem shared is half solved. Let me tell you, whenever we see women going to the salon, there's always a parliament there. In the salon, there's always a parliament. What happens for them? They go there, sit there for 6 hours. In the 6 hours, they pour out all the issues. Leave the salon feeling better and looking beautiful. But for us men, we are told you be a man. Be a man. Yes. And because we're told to be a man, what's happening? Men don't talk, men don't share. That's why majority of the suicide cases are for men. Most breakdowns are for men. Let me tell you, even in the Bible, the women who suffered mental breakdowns were fewer than those of the other kind. More men battled breakdowns in the Bible than women. The first one was Hagar, because of rejection from Abraham's house. Remember the story? When she was thrown in the desert. But God came through for her. You have Hannah, because of barrenness. She broke down. And the man of God would not even believe that she was not drunk. He said, when will you stop drinking? But but she was heavy in her heart. Said, I want to drown my Lord. It is just that I'm overwhelmed. We have where we address the real issues, what has triggered this, what is the cause of this, what is the problem. You have children in your projects who have become problematic, but what's the problem? Yeah? I'm sure you see people who are homeless in your communities. So let's go and let's support, let's build them a house, let's buy them mattress, let's buy them this. You go there after 2 weeks. Mattress that was new, sold. Every food item, not there. He didn't address their problem. We must search down. You see, David says, as the deer pants for the Lord, so my soul pants for you, Lord. I'm on Psalms 42. Yeah? Verse 3 of that Psalms 42 says, my tears have been my food, day and night. When men go to they ask, where is your God? I am sure many of us here, we have cried tears. We have cried our pain. We have been through some pain. But it is through psychologists that this pain can be unpacked for us to receive our healing. That's why the Bible says in James, confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that there may be healing. Healing starts when we open up. And that can only happen through psychotherapy. Where we look at the cognitive behavior therapy, cognitive in terms of the way we think, behavior, because what happens with the mental health issues, the way we think, it all begins from our thoughts. Because whatever we think about affects our feeling, and our feeling manifests through our emotions. And the way we feel will cause us to act in a certain way, or behave in a certain way. For example, if you think about something which is very nice, you'll be happy, right? If you think about something which is bad, you'll feel bad. And therefore your choices on that thought will be negative. And therefore things happen in that regard. Psychodynamic therapy. I am very convinced some of us, we have unresolved conflicts in our lives. Even with ourselves. That's why we still have issues that we have never shared. But we know it. And we normally say, it reminds me if I share it. It makes me cry. Those are unresolved conflicts. We must be able to open it up. That's through psychotherapy. Now, medicines. If the condition has become so severe, you might need medications. If you have depression, you might need to be put on antidepressants. If you are psychotic, you might need to be put on antipsychotic drugs. If you have bipolar, you need some mood stabilizers to keep your mood stable. And then, of course, we have the spiritual interventions. Prayer, fellowship, reading the Bible, and so on. Why? I'm convinced, many of us here, we've sung a song that I love. Let the living waters flow over my soul. Let your Holy Spirit come and take control over what? Every situation that has troubled my mind. All my cares and burdens unto you I know. I'm convinced there are times we go to church, heartbroken. But then the clergy preaches sermon. You come back and say, oh, I'm encouraged. That was my word. That was my word. Thank you, Jesus. That was my word. You get encouraged, right? Why? Let's go biblical still, because the Bible has the concept for mental health. Psalms, not Psalms, let me begin with the Proverbs. Proverbs 13 verses 12. If you come with the Bible, you can open and read. Proverbs 13, verse 12 says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And that is where the whole issue of breaking down starts from. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. Right? Is that what you have?
Yes.
Finish it.
Hope deferred makes the heart sick.
Yes.
But a longing fulfilled is a trip
Of life. Very good. Now, go to Proverbs 12:25. Proverbs 12:25. New King James says, anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes it glad.
Yes.
Right? Anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes it glad. That's why sometimes when you are overwhelmed with all these issues, all it is an encouragement, all it is a good word, all it is a motivation, all it is an encouragement. That's why David says, as the deer pants for water, even my soul pants for you, Lord. Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you. So these are real. Now what happens if it's severe or a person is at the risk of suicide? Treatment may involve hospital assessment and admission. Please, if you are admitted in the mental health unit, it's not because you are an outcast, but it is because that is one of the ways to help you address the treatment plan. And why people wait up to the when it is severe is because of the judgments, the fear and all that. But I can tell you, colleagues, if we can address these issues head on, and we start early, we will not even need to be admitted. For example, depression. For it to become severe, it means you've not been able to open up to anybody. You didn't share those issues with somebody. Nobody helped you address these issues, and then you keep sinking until you are left between a hard rock and a wall. So everything falls apart. Yeah. Prevention is not a cure. That's why our programs are on two sides. We do curative programs, but our main focus is preventive. There's need to heal. That starts with accept that we need help. You can't heal until you say, I need help. Many times we live in denial. Many times we live in denial without accepting that we need help. And because of that, what happens? Things fall apart. Self-esteem is stigma. How do people see me that I have this problem? What will people say if I say that I have this problem? You are more concerned about people's opinion about your condition. So the self-esteem is stigma. That's why many times we don't go because of fear. How will people see me? Second layer of stigma, societal stigma. How society sees anyone who has a mental health condition. Yeah? The society. The third layer is of Winjira. Do those people also come in the tent? No. They are locked up somewhere. Oh, they are taken somewhere far. Why? Because it is shaming us to know that we have such a family member. Some of us could be part of that visit, and then we can actually see how to help him or her. But because of the fear that he is shaming us, we hide. The fourth layer is social stigma. If you come for a job interview and you say, God has killed me and I was able to have mental health problem, because of mental health problem, but now God killed me, I'm now here, I now want a job. I'm telling you, few people can think about giving me a job because of the policies around them. Yes. Yeah. The last stigma is health practitioner stigma. I'm sure last year also you saw a clip either on social media or Facebook or wherever, which was reading, Butabika is a fool, run a mother to your own cost. Did you read something like that? That particular message was being shared by health practitioners, whom even some of them I know. Now, if somebody who is supposed to be the one caring for you begins to give you stereotypes and labels, first of all, nobody wants to learn about it, right? Circumstances. But help is available. So, let's break those stigmas. Then, let's build support systems. Please, staff within your project, build support systems. Build support systems. Engage with your colleagues for mutual understanding and support. Don't feel shy to engage. And once someone has shared their issue with you, please topic for discussion. You see, I've been using the church as the yardstick for addressing issues of mental health issues. You see, in Acts chapter 2 in the New Testament, there were few cases of mental. Actually, in the New Testament, the only story you hear about to break down is all the one of forgiveness. They eat food together, they will break their bread together, they will pray for each other. And the Bible says, no one had a need, and anyone who had a need, their need will be met by the fellowship. Somebody comes to the fellowship and says, by the last night we slept hungry. Somebody will take care of that. Oh, school fees, last time, school fees balance is still need this, somebody takes care of that. Okay? And that was what happened with the other church. And the Bible says the church grew. And there was life in the church. But what is the problem now? Even right now, even today, if we say now any prayer requests, we have our prayer requests, but we don't mention because of fear. That's the problem. But my call here is let's support. Let's engage with mutual support. Let's build support systems. You see, Job, as an example, when Job lost everything he had, dear to him, he lost his children, he lost the wealth, and his body was in the tatters. And even the wife told him, why can't you just cast God and you die so that I can remarry? No, it was because honestly, she was still fresh. So she will still remarry after the death of Job. Because after all, Paul says that there should be no widow registered in the Bible unless they are 60 plus. So she was still fresh. So she will still get somebody. But now here, Bible says when Job's three friends heard what they told Job, they went to him and said, let's go and sympathize with him. Let's go and empathize with him. So they came. When they saw Job, they couldn't even recognize him. So for them to feel in the same environment with him, what did they do? They had to remove their coats. I'm now imagining right now, because then there were no suits. There it was just the dresses. So Bible says they took their dresses and they sat with Job where Job was. 7 days, 7 nights, nobody said a word. They were with Job. 1 complete week. Nobody said anything. In Job chapter 3, the Bible says Job opened up. Job began to speak. That was a support system. That was a support system. We must have friends who we are supporting. Problem is, right now on our phones we have over 1,000 contacts, but we have no friends. Check how many people you have on your phone. Over 100, but we have no friends. If something happens to you at 3 a.m. and who can you call that they can come for you? Nobody. Everybody will be busy. We shall say what to do, but you please, in case of anything, call me. You are not available. Please, don't self-medicate. I want to beg all of you stuff. I know because of the fear and stigma, people understand their condition. Even they ask Google, I am feeling APC, then they diagnose you online. And then you just go to the pharmacy and buy. Please, I beg, don't. Don't self-medicate. Because it will not have a better impact. Reach out for good health care services providers and be helped. To that, please, I beg. No herbal medicine can treat mental health problems. I want to repeat, no herbal. I'm sure you've been in the buses going to Kampala and somebody comes and says, I have now brought this one. It treats over 80 diseases. including mental health, I beg, don't be fooled. Take responsibility for your mental health. Please, if you hear these trainings, come and attend. Seek help at all times. I want to repeat it again. Seek help at all times from recognized medical facilities and trained professionals. Open dialogue with your supervisors about your condition. Please have open dialogue. Speak up. And if there's something that you can read about mental health, read to them. Get equipped. That is how we're going to help that staff who can help Jane. Once this happens, then we can be in a better place to help Jane. Why? Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians, I quote, the comfort we receive others. Yeah? So, we are helped to help others. Let's help them, let's support them. Please, let's encourage self-care. Rest. That's why one day the commission project that I've ever engaged in the West Nile, I've been asking the staff, do you get rest? Do you have days off in a week? And when I say rest, I mean rest. Some of you go from one task to another task and then don't rest. Rest is needed. We need rest. Prayer. Please pray. I like what Karen said here during the devotion. Please, let's pray. Prayer moves mountains. Prayer moves mountains. Let me tell you something here. Jeremiah 30 verse 3. Bible says, call unto me and I will answer you. And I will show you great things that you don't even know. I will show you. And then Jeremiah 30 verse 17 says, I will restore health to you and heal you of your wounds, declares the Lord. And what was the cause of the wound? Abandonment. Those emotional wounds. Yeah? Because you've been called an outcast. Nobody cares for you. But I will heal you. I can imagine many of us who have wounds here. That's why many of us now have ulcers. Because of those wounds. That's why even sometimes now there's song that we are singing. Oh, Mutima Gunuma. Guyayana. Social support, promote access to help, empower through education, psychoeducation, like this one. This is psychoeducation. Let's promote this, even for our caregivers. And by the way, if our caregivers are empowered, they will take good care of those children. But then when we support the participants without, things fall apart. Now, please, treatment, recovery, and prevention, all of these are possible. That's why prevention is the number one here. None of us want to be in left. All of us want to be in Mr. Right. Or Mr. Right. That's why even whatever we wanted Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. Not so. Nobody wanted Mrs. Left or Mr. Left. Why? You can see where Mr. or Mrs. Left is. God is faithful. God is faithful. And the good news is, 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 10. I want us to end with that. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 10. Because Bible reminds us that the God of all grace, who has called me and you to give eternal glory through Christ Jesus to work in compassion, after you have suffered for a while, will himself restore you, will himself strengthen you, will himself comfort you, will himself settle you. Can we read all verses what we have? 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 10.
And the God of all grace,
Yes,
who called you to his eternal glory in Christ, after you have suffered for a little while.
a little while. By the way, it is only you who knows that you have suffered for a little while. It is only you who knows how long your little while has been. For some of you, your little while has been over 20 years now, still suffering. maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, whichever, he will do what?
Will himself restore you
Will himself restore you
and make you strong,
make you strong,
firm,
firm,
and steadfast.
and steadfast. And another version.
But after you have suffered for a little while,
Yes,
the God of all grace,
yes,
who calls you to share his eternal glory in union with Christ,
yes.
will himself perfect you
Will himself perfect you,
and give you
firmness,
strength,
strength,
and a secure foundation.
and a secure foundation. Another version.
And after you have suffered a little while,
Yes.
the God of all grace,
Mm.
who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore,
Will himself restore,
confirm,
confirm,
strengthen,
strengthen,
and establish.
and establish you. After you suffered for a while. So through this suffering, we can develop mental health problems. Through this suffering, like Jane suffered, the suffering Jane has suffered. I think we saw the story of Jane. But the Bible is reminding us, even when we're in that kind of condition, He can still be able to restore us. That's the end of our first presentation. For more information, I know all of you are on YouTube. You can check that. I have, by God's grace, over 150 videos now on YouTube. You can be able to check some of these sessions on that name, and you can check that. But also better still, the number is there. You can be able to reach out, and we can be able to do work like the way Nicodemus reached out to Jesus at night. All right. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments?
My query is, at times you would want to reach someone for help, but the more you try to reach him, the more he or she runs away from you. How can you go about that?
Okay. You want to help somebody, but someone is running away. Yes. Come at their point of need. Come at the point of need. Identify what do they need. Begin from there. Number two, the best we can do is psychological first aid, which is nothing to do with asking questions. You see, I want to use Job's story. Job's friends came to see Job. They never said anything. They didn't ask, Job, talk to me, tell me what happened. So, I'm your friend now, we are your friends, we've come, we are for you, tell us. No. They sat with Job. And when Job felt their presence, Job felt their comfort. And then Job was able to open up. That's why the Bible says Job opened up. In Job chapter 3, Job opened up. Otherwise, it says Job opened his mouth and then he began to speak. People have to open up, but you don't open up to a stranger. You open to something you trust. So, avail your time, which is mostly with your presence, without questions. Why people run away is because we are asking them questions that they don't want. Yes. They are saying you are going to ask them how far. So, yet they are still asking a room. Sometimes just left to them. Sometimes just as we just hired them. So that's the point. So just take the time with them, create a relationship with them, create the rapport with them, but be at a place where you can only be with them, you can give them your presence. First. After that, then they will open up. Once they open up, then you can be able to help them. Don't help them until they open up. Even when we know what has happened. Because what we know is only a summary of something. Yeah? We are only seeing the tip of the iceberg, but the real issue is the underground. Okay? Another question? This is what I want to you can notify it. So that we go for that. Okay. Now, allow me go to another session briefly. so that we can help Jane very well. Because we really want to help Jane. That's why we're here. And please, if you're not a Jane, please bear with us. Just attend for the sake of attending. Yes.
Thank you, Ross. And I was seeing a job. I'm requesting that we talk about how to deal with the results. Because at the end of job disclosure, you can see what happened. And to the extent people don't disclose because they fear the results. One, expectations as you say, the job requires you to live a certain standard. And when you don't live with it, now you know what happens. But for you want to get healed, get out of the problem. But after disclosure, there is other thing that is going to come. As we see job after disclosing, now people who came, at first they seem to be like friends. He found comfort with them. He disclosed what he was going through. But after, now, the blame comes. Now he was remained alone. So after disclosing, someone who is having a position, or is having a job, or is trying to live a certain life, but he has broken down, but he wants to get out. But after the results that are going to come, talk about those, how to deal with the results.
Okay. When the law teacher, yes, people must talk. We can't stop it. At any level. Somebody opens up, people sometimes they cry. Yeah, because of opening up. You see, when you open up, it is like, has anybody ever had a boil? A boil under your armpit, a boil around here in the soft spots? Yes. When the boil is ripe, the pain is too much. Cutting that pain. Sorry, cutting that place is pain. Squeezing that pass out of the body is another pain altogether. But what happens is once the part has been all removed out and the wound is left open, healing takes place. Okay? Of course, then people will make fun of how you cried, how you were kicking people around. That one is obvious. But the idea is just disclosure. But then, like I said earlier, the disclaimer is somebody you trust. That was my disclaimer. Open up to somebody you trust. Why? I know you might go and cry on a microphone which is amplified using a megaphone. Yeah? Here you're crying on a microphone which is connected somewhere on a megaphone, and before you know it, the information is everywhere. That's what is there. That's what I'm saying. Number one, somebody you trust. Number two, when somebody has come to you, please, confidentiality is a priority. Okay? Now, you see, what in terms of job, of course, they began asking, but tell us the truth. Because people believe, even us here, we believe, if someone has a mental problem, or if somebody is suffering, it is maybe because of sin. We believe it is a punishment for something. Yeah? That is the perception people have. But I can tell you, even when Job went through whatever he went through, I'm sure many of us will dance to one of these songs. My Redeemer lives. My Redeemer lives. Because that Job says, I know my Redeemer lives. At the end of it all, I know my Redeemer lives. So these are things that many times we don't open up because of the stigma. That's the real, I will not say. But the point here is, somebody you trust is the number one idea. Okay, that's why that is the core disclaimer. Now, coming to this topic of stress and performance, it is important for us to appreciate that looking at Jenny's life, everything was falling apart. Okay? Everything kept falling apart, and Jen, we saw that stress took deep toll on her. And everything was falling apart. That's why now we need to help Jen. Why? If we don't help Jen, things are going to fall apart. Because that CPC member, that staff, that overseer, that project was stressed, performance will be zero. And then we shall begin to blame them. You know, for us, we're good in blaming. very good in blaming others, even when they are our own. That's why it is only in Uganda where we know what others should do best, and we don't know what we're supposed to do. Let me say it again. Only in Uganda where we know what somebody should do best. Let me explain something here. I am very convinced even in your own project. The PD should have done ABCD. This is the PD, even when it's not PD wrong. Only in Uganda, did we watch Uganda Cranes play? We blamed the goalkeeper when he ran for the ball outside the net. He should have remained there. Imagine you are the one. So, we want to help Jane. We want to see performance improve. We want to see her address her core issues. And by the way, for Jenny's case, none of her problems was from workplace. Majority of her problems was from home. That's why, even I'm sure we could be having staff who have poor health issues, and it is stressing them. We have staff here who are in universal crisis like Jay, having multiple loans like Jay. Even I'm sure right now, if somebody wants to send you money, your own money, on your own phone, you will tell them, wait, don't on this number. Because Mama, no sir. She was single, she got married, again she got single again. Different things keep happening. We have life change that normal happen. Enough like for some of you here who were single, used to bathe once a day, sometimes once a week, sometimes 3 days a week. And it was cool, right? Now when you got married, you must bathe in the morning, you get to bathe in the evening. And sometimes it can be annoying you. Because you feel uncomfortable, because you feel you're not yourself anymore. In the morning, you just use just wake up and then you just go. But now someone asks you, so I have to know where to. Why do you ask? Life changes. And sometimes this can be with age, this can come with responsibilities, this can come with different issues, right? Now, like she was okay, now she's breastfeeding. That's the life change. The life she's living right now and the one when she was still a girl are totally different. Yeah. Like me, when we got our baby, oh, that baby was a blessing in disguise. I thought the baby had a timetable for crying. After every 2 hours at night. During the day it's peaceful. At night, every after 2 hours. At 10, midnight, 2, 4. Life change, you adjust. It can be stressful, right? Work overload, we're talking about this. Self-imposed stress. This year you must drive. Now you are so stressed. This year I want a baby. You are working day and night, the baby is not there. This year is my year. I want this. And because you put yourself on the stress, you can invite it. Let me tell you, some of you like sisters who are single, you've seen sisters who change hair every month. Even after every 2 weeks they change hairstyle. With the hope that somebody will say no, but nobody says anything. It hurts. After 6 hours in the heat, you come out and then nobody even says something nice about the hairstyle. Nobody even says, hey, thank you for the hair. Nobody says anything about the hair. Self-imposed. We all have smartphones here. Some of us even are not happy with our own smartphones right now. How come? We are 1 year. You don't know their own expenditures, you don't know their own lifestyle. And you are trying to compete with somebody because you are earning your own stress. talked about this. Time management. I know many of you don't have time for yourself. Lots of breakdowns. The one who brought up that they love you so much. How do they say it in our language? Munonga. They no longer pick your calls. Even when you send what happens is they're on the blue ticket, they don't reply. Even others will put you on the blacklist. From your own people at home. Some of you who are more than the days, you know, baby, every time you go home, people ask you, hello, how are you? How far? Meaning that the reduce is supposed to be a baby, how far? Accountability. Some of you, when do the normal prayers? Which date? Around there. And I can tell you from now, some of you have begun receiving phone calls. Because from your village expect something from you at the end of it. And all of these put a lot of pressure on us. All these issues affect us. And before we know it, things fall apart. So what happens with this stress? We can still move from left to right. And moving from left to right takes commitment. Going from a mindset shift. Moving from left to right involves addressing some core issues. Now, that's why we want to address this. And stress management starts by knowing what is stressing you. Because, like I said, the truth you know is what will set you free. And you know what actually is stressing you. Maybe two things. Maybe three things. So for you, what is it? Because once you know what is stressing you, then you can be able to design a program to say how do we help. Because the whole idea is here, how do we move from here? So that's why it begins by knowing what is stressing you. What is stressing you as an individual? Some of you are not stressed by money issues. The man you married, the way he snores irritates you. And you are stressed just because of that. For some of you, whatever it is, I understand what is it. Because it is from there that we know what can work for us. Hypertension, diabetes, metabolic conditions, stomach ulcers, obesity, alcohol. Quantum is what we want to look at. Because, like I said, stress is responsible for this. Stress, like in the sake of Jen. Jen is in the red zone. And they can't know. Yours, you need psychiatric service. And it's triggered by stress. And if yours is you're just injured, you have disturbed sleep, you woke up in the night and then you don't sleep again. They are present, but there's nothing happening. They come at the project only to do Mbwa. Mbwa is M-B-W-A. Mbwa. They only come to do Mbwa. Meaning management by walking around. Identify your own issues. Seek for help. You all have concerns. You have nightmares. Even in the night, you scream, you shout for people. You are worried. You have general. If you know anybody, any staff who keeps pushing work forward, there's a problem. Always tired. One side of the head aches, one side is okay. You need the rest. Rest needed. All of us can go through any of this. Check your own zone. Where are you at? Are you healthy? Or do you have some concern? Is the stress so heavy that you are actually ill right now? Check your own self. Now the battle of life
When your battery is low, what do you do with your phones? When the battery is low? Charge. Please, I want to call upon you staff today, please charge your batteries of life. Charge them. Be connected with the people. Seek help at all times. Don't be a loner. Like we saw Jen was a loner, right? Everything on her own. All of us can go through crisis. We can all go through crisis. We can all struggle. We can all survive. Even in fact, as a matter of fact, it is possible that 90% of the staff who are here today have ever said, after all, I will survive. And now we are in the survival mode. They summarize in the height. God gives an American the height as a spouse to balance the height of the children. In Jesus' name. Wow. So we are different. Now what happens here is until we learn to deal with this, until we learn to build the communication, good communication with them, until we learn the source at home, please, by God's grace from today, resolve not to say anything in anger to your spouse. By God's grace, because the Bible says you can be angry, but don't allow the sun to go down with your anger. Why? After sunset, there must be some fellowship. So how do you do fellowship when you are still angry?
We give the fellowship.
Begin to support your spouse materially and emotionally, and see what happens. Today, if God blesses you here and you are going home back home, buy something for your spouse. And in the evening, see if there will still be a referendum agenda on Madam, let's be honest now. Here we're all adults. Let's be honest. When Mr. comes home with the providers for the family and for you and all that evening, what do? Do you still ask? Do you still wait for him to ask, or it is a free check?
I like what you say.
Even he will, for the first time, he will wear hot water. There will be massage on the feet. And then, thank God now children are for holidays. Those days, children now go and sleep, to go to school. To go to school, so I sleep early. Now this time there will be no sleeping early. But still you will find a way to send them early. But when Mr. comes home just shaking his hands from work and over, on this shaking his hands, even I'm sure you look at him and then you first look away and you first get busy as if you are better than you will not see him. It happens. I like that confession. It happens. So the point is here. Now, I know we married our best. Yeah. And not every spouse, each one of you is married. You are at the same level in terms of intellectual. But then the point here is, sometimes, one day there was where we had a shooting for something, then somebody proposed, the next one they come with their spouses. You will see the face on the other stuff. Bring my stuff. Bring my spouse here. Why? Sometimes many of us are ashamed of our own spouses. We don't even go to church with them. We shall find ourselves there. We shall meet there. You go ahead with the children. We shall meet there. Even I'm sure some of you in functions, when your colleagues have come, it is rare for you to introduce your spouse to your colleague. Because you feel ashamed. But the point is here, support them in their own social level. Because not everybody will pursue academics. Not everybody in their home will have PhD. Not everybody will have masters in your family. Not everybody will have a diploma in your own degrees. Your spouse will not have, but you may have. But then you find out what can they do best. Build their support systems. Build them up.
Even if it means some vocational training to do, let them do it and let them be the best in it. So that you can even have the comfort to walk and say, Reverend, meet my spouse. But for some of us, when we see Reverend coming, say, first move ahead. Then we ask, hey, how is the matter? God is keeping us, so we're pushing. Is she around? I'm not sure. But I think she's around. May God help us. You need the peace at home. Because if there's no peace at home, I can tell you, at workplace you will always struggle. Don't record this one, this is off camera. They want the result, they want targets. So do your job well. Number 2, avoid the gossip. Avoid unholy conversations and discussions about your staff or your boss or at your workplace. Alright? Avoid it. Please, I beg. Avoid the gossips. This thing of, have you heard? Are you aware? Do you know? Not for our workplaces. Leave issues of work at office. Don't take them home.
Yes. Have you heard?
Don't complain to your spouse about your colleague or your boss. Why? Women are more emotionally courageous and they might one day come to defend you at workplace. And that's never happened. Because a spouse at work is always complaining to their spouse at home about their staff, about their boss and all that. One day the spouse will just get stressed and come to a workplace and say, today, and pass the table for you on your behalf. Because we are different. You know, there are people who are cold-blooded by nature. But then there are those who are hot-blooded, warm-blooded by nature. In fact, not hot, warm, but hot. Because they are the cholerics. Yeah? So they might come and fight for you on your behalf to defend you. Please, issues of office, leave them in office, don't take them home. How to manage stress? The 4 A's of stress management. Simple. Then we end. 4 A's of stress management which are very easy. Number 1 is avoid. Identify areas of stress, avoid them. What is stressing you, you can avoid. That's why the Bible says it takes two people to quarrel. If one is quarreling and then one doesn't want to quarrel, there will be no fight. Right? So you can avoid the stress. Number 2, you can alter your perspective. Is there anybody who has a coin here? Anybody who came with a coin? Either a 500 coin or do you have a coin? How many sides does a coin have? 2. Very good. Now, today I want to announce to you, a coin has 3 sides. Yes.
According to probability.
Where is the problem? If you see a coin with the 2 sides, if you are seeing, for example, 200 shillings here, if you are seeing the fish, you can't see the beautiful coat of arm. Yeah? And now in most cases now, why does the search come? We all fix our eyes on one side. We don't see the other beautiful side of the story. What happens? We must go to the third side of the coin, which is the edge, this one. Now, when we come to the edge, we can be able to flip both sides and then appreciate life. Some of you know you should pray, but not because of the spouse you have. You're praying every day.
And fasting.
And fasting also. And you never used to fast. And your spiritual growth is happening because of your spouse. Some of people never used to work hard because of the stinginess of your spouse. You have been forced to do something. But even better still, if, like I said, you have strength and weakness, your area of weakness is their area of strength. And they help you balance that. Let's rest. Sleep at least 7 to 8 hours. I don't believe in people who say, keep no sleep. Let me tell you something here. Bible is our foundation. Psalms 127 verse 2 says, I quote that last part. It is in vain for you to wake up early in the morning and to sleep very late, only to eat the bread of sorrow. But what does God do? He gives his beloved sleep. Please sleep Like, if you have headache, one side is aching you, it's not that it is witchcraft. Drink water and sleep. When you wake up, the headache will be gone. Healing takes place when we are asleep. Please sleep. Eat healthy. And please bathe. Bathe. Put on perfume.
Go out.
Put on your best clothes, not expensive, but be your best clothes. And go out. Don't only be at work. No. Please try to go out. Where did I get this one? This is in the Bible principle. Ruth chapter 3, verse 3. Bathe. Many times when we are overwhelmed with issues, we don't bathe. Please, I want to challenge all of us. Let's bathe. Put on perfume. But thank you so much for listening. And in the case of any questions, I think we'll answer questions after lunch. Our time is ready for lunch. Our over to you.
Appreciate him. Thank you for a wonderful session. We were still in America when we come back. You see, if we still remember what we have learned. For the singles, the sessions are not favoring you as much, but you should be picking up. By the time you reach there, Akavera, Echirabo, you should know all those things. Let's note down. Me, I have been noting.
Bye for me.
Memo is sorted.